This is the Brad Gerstman roast. Okay, where's Brad? Oh, there he is.
You left already.
All right.
You left.
And I have the distinct displeasure of being Brad's partner. I want you all to know that. And let me clarify that. His business partner.
Like the story.
So it fills me with great warmth to know. It fills me with great warmth to know that on behalf of all the people that Brad has tortured over the years, that he's going to get it back today. And he's going to get it back today. So a lot of other people wanted to be here to honor Brad today. A lot of people, but they weren't. I'm sorry, Brad. They weren't able to make it. You know, people like Todd Shapiro, you know, who enjoys being threatened by Brad on a daily basis. Unfortunately, he had a previous engagement. Very sorry. Peter Ferraro, another law commonly referred to Brad as the pig. An admirer of Brad for so long, he really wanted to be here. I'm very sorry he couldn't be here. John Dario, who's in intensive care right now, thanks to Brad, he wanted to be here, but he's sorry he can't be here. And of course, the great Diane Cahill. From the institution where they now reside. All because of Brad. Thank you very much. So Brad tries to come off like a classy guy, but he eats like a fucking pig. He grabs any food in sight, and before he even knows it, it's gone. It's gone. The food is gone. It's actually dangerous sitting. Watch out there. It's actually very dangerous sitting next to Brad at a dinner table because. You know, one night I tried to pass him some food and he accidentally bit my hand. But he doesn't, you know, Brad doesn't taste his food. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows this. Brad does not taste his food. So after he bit into my hand, he said, wow, that was a delicious piece of lobster. That was
Keep working on it, baby. You're getting better.
All right. You know, I'm not this kind of comic, so just bear with me. All right. So, you know, he shovels the food in so fast, which is why you should never trust Brad for any restaurant reservation. You cannot take a restaurant reservation from this man. It's lucky he's not 400 pounds. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. But Brad, as we all know, is obsessed with gangsters, all right? And basically anyone who may try to kill or maim us, Brad is just obsessed with. He really is. He thinks he's Italian. Come on! But really, under that tough guy exterior, lurks a little Jew from Valley Stream. Growth spurt. I don't know if you know this. In fact, Brad didn't reach puberty to law school. You know, can you imagine little Brad Gerstman, the smallest kid in Valley Stream High School? His nickname was Little Brad. Does that sound familiar?
Yes,
Little Brad.
Yes.
All right, it was a Trump-like. It was Little Brad, little Marco. All right, we're a little slow at the intake. It's okay. You know, if I could get anything, Brad, if you wanted for your birthday, Brad. Wait a second. I screwed this all up. You're supposed to be sitting over here. Yeah, you're supposed to have my back on this. What the hell's wrong with this? All right. If I could get Brad anything he wanted, it would probably be a badge of some kind. And that would be a very dangerous thing to do. Because years ago, Brad worked the Bronx DA's office, and they made a very big mistake by giving Brad a badge. You know, he strutted around like he was Charles Bronson in Movie Television. He flashed that badge at any chance he could get. You know, he was in the Special Investigative Unit. Remember that, Brad? And he acted like he was a cop. He really thought he was a cop. Typical tough guy, very tough guy. You know, he would accompany the cops in very dangerous situations. But once he got done with the cops, you should only see him in court. He's paralyzed. He is scared of every single judge. He cannot go in front of a judge. It's unbelievable. So after he thought about, so he couldn't go in front of these judges, so what happened? He thought about leaving the law. Brad thought about leaving the law. And you know what? He went into the families, I mean, you remember this, Harvey. He went into the family's interior construction business, which was more his calling, right? Right? Wasn't his calling, Danny?
Definitely.
Definitely his calling. But the problem is, the other men made fun of him for wearing a suit with a pocket square while pouring cement.
That was a little boy singing
Alright, now at this point, I want everyone to give Cheryl Gerstman a round of applause. Cheryl, my condolences. I mean, to sleep next to this beast for so many years. Can you imagine getting into bed with this guy? I mean, this guy snores like a freight train. And he falls asleep at the drop of a hat. I mean, when AJ and Chris drive him around, I feel sorry for you guys also. I really do. So, he swears, he's a pretty boy, right? Look at him. He's a pretty boy. It takes 2 hours for Brad Gerstman to get dressed every morning. Did everybody know that? But I just want you to know, Brad, it takes me 5 minutes, and I'm still a better dresser than you. But Brad, doesn't handle legal disputes by writing a complaint. He is a lawyer, but he doesn't write complaints. He handles legal disputes by issuing press releases. That's Brad's methodology of handling legal disputes. In fact, Brad invented the lawsuit by press release. He's the one that invented that. So instead of sending his adversaries a complaint, he sends them a mock press release. And he shows them what fools they look like when he wins the case. So, he has brought the largest companies in this country to their knees with the threat of the Gerstman press release. And we all know he's totally obsessed with the press. Brad is totally obsessed with the press. In fact, the most dangerous place in the world is anywhere between Brad Gerstman and a TV camera. Where did I get that joke from? But okay, enough with the niceties. Enough with the niceties. Let me tell you about the real Brad Gerstman. All right? The real Brad Gerstman. He was born 50 years ago and made medical history by being the only child ever conceived through a blowjob. You know what? Hey, Carol, I told you this is going to be ugly. All right? You said we could take it. Now, finding a career for Brad was very difficult for Brad because he's really only cut out for 2 positions, sitting and lying down. All right? And his high school guidance counselor tried to help him find his strengths. And, he said that Brad was
grabbing his ankles.
All right. He said that Brad was an accomplished liar. So he thought that a career in politics may be just right for him. All right. That was a good joke, wasn't it?
It was a good joke.
But instead, Brad, I don't think you guys know this. Brad went on to Columbia Graduate School where he got a degree in international affairs, which Brad thought meant fucking women from different countries.
Someone turn on the air.
But Brad never cared about looks as long as he got what he wanted. This one's going to get me in trouble. All right, so back in the day, his penis was busier than an orthodontist in Japan. And that's fucking funny. All right, you know what? That's going to be all over the internet. I know I'm going to get in trouble. All right. In his defense, Brad really is a very loving and caring man. You really are, Brad. In fact, early in his relationship with Cheryl, he was so in love that he bought himself an engagement ring. And you know, Brad, we all know Brad is very self-absorbed, very into self-love. You really are into self-love. You know what? The reality is he's a big masturbator. In fact, we went out in Albany one night in a bar, and he was ordering a drink, and he ordered drink after drink after drink after drink, and he was pouring each drink into his hand. And I asked him, I said to him, "What are you doing?" And he said he was trying to get his date drunk. Now, all right, I'm just an amateur. So, without any further ado, all right, if I kept talking about Brad, I could talk till tomorrow. But I'm going to hand the reins over to a tremendous human being. Our official MC for the day, a guy that you've seen on Comedy Central a number of times, AXS TV, radio, Sirius Radio, all kinds of TV shows. The incredible comedian from Comedy Central, Jeffrey Gurian.